Welcome to the lower extremity warm-up today. So we're going to be working on the legs, getting everything stretched out, getting you moving, getting you ready for activity. So this is something that I typically do before every single workout, every single bike ride that I'm going on, just to loosen up the legs and get things moving. We're not going to be holding positions for very long. This is going to be fairly dynamic warm-up. So feel free to hop on your mat and let's go ahead and get started. So the first exercise we're going to do here is the true hip flexor stretch. You're going to put one leg up, one leg's going to stay back. You're going to tuck your hips and then rock forward and backwards here. We're going to do about 5 to 10. And it's important to note with all these exercises that we go over today, you can always do a few more if you feel like you still need to stretch out that area. Good. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides here. And this is really going to help to open up the hips a little bit. Most important portion with this is that you're tucking the hips back. A lot of people will just get right into this position and rock forward, but you're not going to get quite as much of a stretch if you do it that way. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to stick one leg all the way out to the side. The other knee is going to be pretty much directly in front of your hands. Are going to be out front. And then you're going to rock backwards, bring your hips towards your heels. And same thing, we're going to do about 5 to 10 repetitions here. You should feel a good stretch throughout your groin, throughout your adductor muscles, the muscles on the inside of your thigh. Good. And then we'll go ahead and we'll switch sides here. So right leg stays down, knee on the ground, left leg out. And then you can always widen your stance too based on how you're feeling. If you want to get a little bit deeper stretch, bring that foot a little bit further out. Super important with this though that you're keeping your foot so it's pointed forward. Don't let your foot come out to the side. That'll take away from some of the stretch here. Okay, good. Feeling good, starting to get warm. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, put your hands on the mat. And then you're going to get into a down dog position and you're going to pump your ankles back and forth. And just pump for about 10 seconds here. And then you're going to lower down to your knees and walk a little bit closer. And then repeat. Okay, good. Now we're starting to get a little bit warmer here. The next thing that we're going to do is you're going to put your hands back on the mat. And then from this position here, all you're going to do is arch your back and look up. And then reverse that position and rock backwards here. You're going to alternate between these two positions here. So this is like a modified cat camel. So I do mix in some various yoga positions with my warm-up, trying to make everything a little bit dynamic, again, meaning, that we're moving through those motions rather than just holding them in a stationary position. Okay, good. And I know this is mostly supposed to be a lower body focused warm up, but I do like to mix in some upper body exercises throughout the warm up as well. We'll do just a couple more here. Focus on your breathing. This shouldn't be over strenuous. Okay, good. And then from this position, what you can do, this is optional, to mix in, be widen your stance here. So have your knees so they're a good bit apart. And then again, we're stretching on the inside of our thigh. So we're just going to rock back, bring your hips towards your heels. Back and forth here. And then this will kind of transition us into working on the hips here next. So the first thing I'm gonna have you do, you're gonna have both knees bent, and then you're just gonna be moving your right leg up and down here. And we'll do about 10, and then we're gonna switch positions. So just taking the hip, taking the leg through these ranges of motion that we're gonna be using during whatever activity is coming up. So this is great to perform before exercise, before a bike ride, before a run, but it's also something you can do on its own too, something you can come back to. Okay, I think that's about 10. And then we'll switch directions. So now you're gonna bring the knee up, whereas before we were bringing the knee in. And then same thing, we'll try and do about 10 here, and then we'll switch sides. There's no right or wrong amount of repetitions to do for this. Just kind of see what feels good for you. And then we'll switch sides again. We're gonna work on the other side here. 2, 3. Good. And then we'll switch one last time here. Okay. And then we're gonna work on just a little bit more mobility at the hips. Then we'll also work on the hamstrings, and then that will be about it here. So first thing we're gonna do, for the hamstrings, you're gonna have one leg bent, one leg straight, and then you're just gonna reach out, try and touch your toes. Rather than just holding this position, we're just gonna move back and forth a little bit. Again, trying to make all these movements a little bit more dynamic. Okay, good. And then switch sides here. And you can do multiple rounds of various exercises too. So once you get this routine down, if you want to do a couple sets of each, that's perfect. And then we're just going to move the knees up and down next. Everything's feeling pretty good so far. But if any areas do feel a little bit more tight, feel free to again spend a little bit more time there. And then the last thing we're gonna do, lay flat on your back. And then you're just gonna bring one leg straight up. And then you're moving up and down, stretching out those hamstrings in the back of your leg here. And then we'll do, between 10 and 15 on each side. Perfect. So that's about it for the routine. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, have a great workout. Have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing next. But feel free to always come back to this video and do this warm up with me to get you primed and ready to go for whatever the day holds. So have a great day, and we will see you soon.